So Fulvic, wow, like to start with Fulvic, Terry's like, I don't even know what Fulvic is. Like, I've never heard of this. Like, what's so great about this? And I was like, now this one in particular, most people, at first, like I was like everybody else, like I'm thinking it's the black stuff. Like a lot of people that hear about this, it's this black powder, or it comes from a bog typically. A lot of them are coming from bogs. A lot of them come from Canada or out west, in the United States. And recently I've learned like down even in Mexico, but they're coming from sources that aren't necessarily clean. And so they do have to test, they do have to clean. But the difference of ours, let's just focus on that. It's gold. It is gold. And when I learned that, I was like, wow, because this is literally liquid gold. And fulvic is a plethora of minerals. If you've ever heard the term where we come from dust and then we die, we become the dust, it's because our bodies are literally made of majority of minerals. Like
Yeah.
that's it. You know,
Yeah.
if you don't, I'm sure a lot of people don't know. If you don't know, Terry's a pastor,
That's
and
right.
we've had this conversation.
I preached on this at one point because I went and I looked, Allison, at the minerals, what the earth is actually made of, and then what humans are made of. And I'm like, wow, that's very, very similar. How
Yeah,
did you stay
it's
together? And
crazy. It's
laminin, but it
absolutely
doesn't
crazy.
matter. Yeah. So I was
And
really,
so
when you said it, I was like, well, this makes a lot of sense because we look a lot like the earth. Yeah.
we do, it's the whole circle of life. Like we are born and we die and we become. And here's the thing, why New Zealand? New Zealand is got the purest source. It's untouched fertile land. And I'm like, well, New Zealand, I don't know. It's got some crazy animals and insects there. I don't know that. Go there. Sorry for those that live there, but when I see all the wild, like venomous animals, I'm like, I'm good from a distance. I just hang out in the hills of Ohio out here in little Switzerland and I'll watch. It's beautiful. Beautiful, but more power to you. But no, in all seriousness, this literally the fulvic is gold because of the purity. It is taken down so deep in the earth, and that when it comes up, its high biological activity is the way that it's reacting to light. I'm trying not to use really big words, but it's literally the why it's gold is how it interacts with light when you see it. And the darker the golder it is, it's the more pure it is. It's this high quality of basically carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. That is our human body, and that
Wow.
is literally all fulvic is. So
Wow. Okay.
I like to refer to fulvic as basically a molecular tonic. It's not a vitamin, it's not a nutrient, but it's a tonic that when our bodies take it, it's like, whoa, finally something that we can recognize because our bodies are literally made up of that. So
Yeah.
that's what fulvic is in a nutshell.
All right. Awesome. That's good stuff. So, now we talked a little bit about why fulvic, what it can do in the human body, why it's important in terms of absorption of nutrients. Can you kind of explain that to everybody?
Yeah, so it's made up of over 70 trace minerals. And so I did basically give the compound of what it is, when you look on like or on a I'm not a chemist, I'm an herbalist, but if you look up
The
on a
elemental,
chemistry,
the
that's what it,
elemental chart, the
yes.
elemental chart. Yeah.
There you go. So let's dive into what it is and what it does. And so immediately when you take it into your mouth, it's made up of such a small molecular weight, which makes it more bioavailable to the body. So there's nothing hindering it. And why that is important is because it's able to penetrate the cells. Our bodies are made up of trillions of cells, and those cells are our atoms. And this penetrates right into the cell so that the cell wakes up, it can become healthy and absorb our nutrition.
Nice.
So I was just talking to Terry to basically break down. I told him I'm not a sports person. And so forgive me if I don't say this correctly, but your cells are these atoms, and they have this wall around them. They have this little buddy that hangs out beside of them. Okay. And I said, it's kind of like football. And I'm hoping I don't say this incorrectly, but it's like the quarterback gets protected by who?
The offensive lineman.
I said the defensive lineman. So there you go. That's how little sports I know. I'm a horse girl. Forgive me. But anyway, it's like this quarterback getting protected. And when this little buddy leaves, he gets to go and he wreaks havoc. If he's not protecting this, that quarterback gets basically
Sacked.
sacked. Yeah, sacked,
Yep.
I guess as I call it. It gets sacked and he's crushed, and then he's dying. He starts to experience oxidative stress. He starts to rot. And oxidative stress is basically the rotting of an apple. When you cut open an apple, it turns brown, it rots. And if you can imagine, all these rotting cells beside each other, what ends up happening is inflammation. And if you know anything about that, inflammation leads to disease. And so the more and more unhealthy cells we have in our body, the more inflammation and disease we have. So this little guy breaks away. He's supposed to be protecting this cell. That's what your free radicals are. So he's wreaking havoc all over your body, causing a chain reaction. So this chain reaction starts to create more and more oxidative stress, unhealthy cells. And so Fulvic's job not only is to penetrate these cells to make them healthy so they can absorb the nutrition, it's also the strongest antioxidant. So we throw that term around so much. Antioxidant. Anti getting rid of oxidative stress is what it breaks down to. So it goes in like this big old claw, eating all of these free birds, free radicals, and so that they're gone. It gets rid of all of these toxins, heavy metals, pesticides, herbicides. So that takes you to where Fulvic, I said it comes from the ground. We used to get this stuff. That's why so many times people say our grandparents used to be able to eat the food and they could get their nutrients because, one, they probably weren't washing them like people do now. People wash them because they see the spraying going on. They don't want the chemicals in the body. But those food is depleted, the soil's depleted. And so you're not getting that particular nutrition into your body so that your body can absorb. So that's what makes it significant. And that's what Fulvic is doing immediately when it comes into the body. Gets rid of the free radicals, breaks open that, makes that cell membrane more permeable so that when you take your vitamins that people are so excited about taking, that it can absorb it. I tell people that your toilet water is the most expensive water in the entire world because you're literally peeing away all of the vitamins, nutrients that you're eating. And you're like, why am I not healthy?
Wow.
They think they got to take more vitamin D, more vitamin E, more vitamin B, and they're deficient in iron. And it is because your cells are so stuck together that they cannot absorb. So you're lacking the hydration. Again, people drink the water, they're drinking hydration stuff, and they're always chronically dehydrated. Well, their cells don't absorb it. So not only are you absorbing nutrition, you're absorbing water and other nutrition or minerals that your body needs to be hydrated. So when your cell is it got the nutrients, it's got the hydration, you're obviously eliminating all of the toxins in your body. And that's what makes it so significant. So a lot of people don't understand. As an herbalist, they're like, why do I need all these herbs? Because, vitamins are key. I need to take vitamins. What vitamins? Well, you really only need 90 nutrients in a day. That's it. And that 90 nutrients is the majority of it is minerals. Most people think it's vitamins. So anywhere from 60 to 84 minerals. It's not the same for everybody. Obviously, everybody's different. And this is to obtain optimal health, obviously. And only 16 different vitamins. The vitamins typically should be in a food source, 11 amino acids, 3 essential fatty acids, and that's it. And vitamins, my friend, can only be absorbed into the body when you have minerals present because you need a certain reaction in the body for your body to absorb that vitamin. And that reaction is the cell membrane being open so that it can get the nutrients in and so that your body absorbs it and it knows exactly what to do with that particular thing.
So what the picture I have, Allison, I live in Las Vegas. And when we get heavy rains, we just get flooding because the water has nowhere to go. It doesn't really penetrate. The soil is so hard and everything. It's like the water comes and it just runs off. And that's like, it sounds to me like when anybody takes in quote unquote vitamins or things like that, if the cells aren't taking it in, it's just like the water. There's plenty of water at different times, but it just runs off because it can't be absorbed into the ground. Sounds like that's the same thing here. Vitamins or anything that nutrition people take in, if the cells aren't open to accepting them, it just comes through and right out. It just gets eliminated from the body.
That's an excellent analogy. It's like if the ground, it's like the desert. If the top is so hard and that rain comes down, you will not absorb the water, and the water just runs off. It's the same exact thing. That's a really good analogy. And everyone's always about alkalinity. We want to make our bodies alkaline, and you can't do that if your cells aren't absorbing anything. People eat so much stuff that's acidic, And then if your body's super acidic, it's not going to be healthy also. So this also helps to balance the pH in your
Oh,
body to make
wow.
it more alkaline. By doing that, it keeps your blood oxygen levels up. So
Oh,
that's huge. Everybody
good
knows
deal.
back in, 2020, the big thing was monitor your oxygen levels, keep them up. Your oxygen levels are going to be naturally higher because your cells are have the nutrition, have the water, they're having the oxygen, the cells are breaking up, they're not sticky and icky, they're going through and hitting all the microvessels. And another thing to me that's super great is digestion. If you didn't remember from the beginning, that's what started me on my whole journey. I had ridiculously bad digestive issues, and they just gave me a whole bunch of medication. A lot of people like to take digestive enzymes because they're like, oh, I can't digest my food. I'm bloated. I'm gassy. I have heartburn. I have all these issues. I need to take those enzymes to make it better. I've never been a fan because your body makes its own enzymes.
Mhm.
Yeah, as we age, that declines a little bit, but it also declines again because your cells aren't healthy. It's their job to create the enzymes. Those enzymes are responsible for over 300 different complex reactions in the body. And that complex is everything you put in your mouth. Everything you're putting in your mouth, you have different enzymes that go through, break it down, and send it out and into a place where it gets used for energy. That's the only point that we should be putting things in our mouth. Obviously, we put things in our mouth because it tastes good, but
Yeah.
that's why people are doing that. And the significance to this is that those enzymes are connected to every organ in the body. Anything that goes in your mouth, immediately your taste buds recognize it, change it into energy, break it down into food, and then if you don't need it, it goes away. Now, if your cells aren't healthy, here's the thing that's crazy. A lot of times people take minerals and they're inorganic. And inorganic, basically, yes, we're like, oh, organic, inorganic, what's the difference? Well, because they're synthetic. Your body's only going to know what to do with 10% of that. 90% of that gets stored in cells, typically fat cells. And same thing with food. When your body can't break it down because you don't have the right enzymes, it stores it in fat cells. Where? Visceral fat. So this
Mhm.
is where a certain little product that we have pairs so beautifully with Fulvic is because when it's burning that visceral fat, it's getting rid of all that stored junk, that 90% of crap that's been hanging out in there because your body didn't know what to do with it. And then the Fulvic can go in and help flush that out. So all these people that I can't promise you anything, but in my personal experience of people utilizing Fulvic in combination of burning visceral fat with other things, nothing as significant as this, um, they're not going to have as many bad reactions. Let's put it that way. They're not going to have that bloating because your body is going to be able to whoosh it right out with this Fulvic. It's going to attach it and pull it right out. So your body becomes less toxic over time because of this Fulvic going in and washing it out.
Nice. So along with Fix, what Fix does, I'm sure most everybody on here has probably heard about it. It goes in and goes after that visceral fat, so it releases toxins into the body. It sounds like Fulvic comes along, cleans all that up, and gets rid of it a whole lot faster. So one of the things that we hear, from some people is that they quote unquote what they will say gain weight
Mm-hmm.
or get bloated because the body's going to produce and retain water to dilute
Mm-hmm.
out all those toxins because they're all being released out of the visceral fat, if you guys didn't know. But Fulvic comes along, cleans all that up faster, so the chances of them having that go way down is what it sounds like to me.
That's exactly right. And again, to understand like the entire whole process of what Fulvic is doing, yes, you've heard me use the word detox a couple of
Yep.
times. So there is a slight possibility that some people are going to have a detox effect. And
Sure.
because it does detox, I should give a potential warning for anybody who's on medication. Do not take them together. So if you're on any medical or prescription medication outside of natural, take them at least 3 hours apart. Because it could attach to that and then flush it straight out of your body. Just keep that in mind. That is the only warning that I ever give anybody with Fulvic, and I felt like I had to share that here because depending on who's going to listen to this, they need to know that.
Sure.
And it's not uncommon. Like it's interesting when people start to understand where your toxins come from. The air you breathe, the food you eat, the water you drink are all full of toxins. So it's not just foods. It's people think when I'm getting toxins in my body, it's because I eat processed foods or sugary foods or drink pop or whatever. It's not just that. All your environment. So it's not uncommon for an entire community to literally be toxic with the exact same issue. In fact, I'm working with an entire community somewhere. We're so excited to get this Fulvic because of the power of this concentrated little dropper. The fact that it's in a liquid form is huge compared to being in a dehydrated powdered form, because fulvic in its natural state is watery. It's liquid, just so you know that. It's mixed with a lot of water. And so for someone to get it into a powder form, they have to dehydrate it or process it in a way. This is cutting that out. So that's another level which makes us, which, to me, a lot more exciting for sure.
Nice. Awesome. And we have the NZ Fulvic now exclusively with Marketplace Global, and you guys start to see that depending on what country you live in, that's going to become available globally. We have it already in New Zealand and Australia. It's coming to the US here January 2025, and we'll have that here in North America, and then the rest of the globe. So excited to have that, and excited to see all the results that people have. Anything else before we wrap it up, Alison?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, absolutely. Think about it as this: it's 70 trace minerals, opening up the cells, getting nutrition in, enzyme production, hormone production, and it's bone health because of all the nutrients. The last thing I shared with Terry was there's an amazing study on PubMed.gov. I mean, I don't have it here to link, but you can look it up. Just look it up yourself. And it talks about what happened to a specific study where Fulvic was used and how it increased leptin hormone, which we don't know about the leptin hormone. That's where you know you're full and your satiety is gone and the food cravings are gone. And it also helped increase the HGH hormone, which is the human growth hormone. If you know anything about that, that's a significant anti-aging aspect. So there's so much beautiful things to this, and it increases muscle mass.
Nice.
Because why? Your body's absorbing nutrition. So yes, I am so excited for this. I hope you are too. I mean, we have such a blessing here with Marketplace Global in the products that we have because they pair them so well. Can't get them anywhere else. And we have leadership like Terry. I'm so grateful for you, Terry, for all you do for so many people. You're literally a God's gift for not only me, but I feel like your heart is so awesome. So I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Praise the Lord. Well, Alison, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, experience, expertise. This is going to help a lot of people. And I really am, to your point, we continue to look for synergistic products that aren't available elsewhere. And guys, we still have more coming. I'm just telling you. So it's going to be a great 2025. Thank you again, Alison, for sharing all of that with everybody. And look forward to some great things for a lot of people from a health standpoint, and for those who care to help their own wealth as well. So thanks everybody for jumping on, and guys, have a great rest of the day wherever you happen to be. God bless.
Thanks, guys. See ya.